Hello and welcome to Inside Leominster. My name is Dean Mazzarella, Mayor for the City of Leominster, and yes, we're live tonight as we are each and every Thursday night. And good comments on the show last week. We had some rock star people talk about the real estate business and preparing you for spring. And we will probably do another show as spring approaches. And yeah, so we had some good guests and got your wheels turning and churning as you think about maybe purchasing a house and maybe selling your house and some of the things that you need to do to get ready. And so yes, seemed to be a good show, and people seem to like it. So we'll do another. And so tonight we're busy as well, but give us a buzz at any point, whether it's through one of the guests or just in general. 978-537-7760 extension 3. You can watch us live streaming through Facebook at leominster.tv. And yeah, so here we go. And geez, it seems like forever that we've been out to the Art Report. Art, are you there?
Yes, we are. First off, I'd like to wish the guys that keep my 22-year-old truck running, I hope they get the rebuild quickly. It's a Sunoco on 13. My God, we dodged a major bullet without a tragedy there today.
Major between the people that were inside and the firefighters and everybody around there. Yeah,
all I could think of was if you go in the bays, if you go in the bay and take a sharp right, there's a doorway, and that's where the young man types up the computer for your receipt.
Sticker.
And all the,
yeah.
And I'm saying, I hope he's not stuck in there.
Yeah.
My God, because that's the bay that I think started burning first.
Well, they got out, and hopefully the Sunoco Corporation will allow them to rebuild there. They actually own the property and everything, so hopefully they'll allow them to go in.
I'll tell you one thing. If they do reopen and people that haven't been there, it's worth the trip just to see a little bit of the olden days, because the guys that pump your gas are the most polite, gentlemanly young fellas you're ever going to run across. They're unbelievable.
One of the few places left that they actually pump your gas.
Yes.
Yeah.
And one of the few places left where they're polite, they talk to you. I mean, it's hilarious, some of the things that they do. They go out of their way.
Well,
they've been working on my antique now, like I said. And the last time I was in there, it was a month ago. I brought it in for the yearly oil change, and the owner come over and he was laughing. And I says, "What's so funny?" And he says, "You know, we haven't changed your oil sticker they put up on the windshield to tell you when you come back again. Well, I only go about 400 miles a year, so there's no need to change the number. So they just leave it there, and it's still like 2,000 miles away from being due if you were doing the usual 3,000-mile intervals. But anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah,
well, they could have. That could. It looked bad. I tell you, seeing that black smoke just
flames.
50, 60 feet in the air, it's just unbelievable. So they were lucky that you got everybody out of there and it didn't get to the gas tanks. That really could have been a disaster.
Oh my God!
There. So
that would have been not pretty.
That's why they.
And I have an interesting thing. You know, Hawaii. A lot of the things that you buy there, everything is imported into them, being on the island they're on. And a lot of people, I'm sure, have seen the question in games they play. Spam is on every menu of every restaurant in Hawaii because it's easy to get, it's cheap, and it lasts forever. But we have some friends that just got back from, they were there for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And she says to us 2 days ago, this one particular night, they were sitting out on their balcony, and they said, "Let's go get a pizza across the street, bring it back, sit outside, have a cold beer." 2 pizzas, $72.
It must have been some really good pizza.
Regular pizza, nothing fancy, $72.
Wow.
they said that a good portion of the cost is getting the material there to make the pizza.
Yeah, right. It's on island.
And it falls back on the consumer. But you imagine $72?
No.
Oh, my God.
I'd be climbing the trees to get the pineapple.
I didn't spend that in 3 nights in Rome.
Imagine that.
But going to Gardner tomorrow to pay my Gardner golf dues. I hope I don't put a jinx on everybody.
No, I think spring's coming. Remember
We need the weather to break.
the flamingo said 6 weeks, so it's right around the corner now.
Yep.
You see our buddy from the car barn passed away, Freddie.
You know, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, I got a bunch of emails from Terry Canavino about it. I sent out some information to the Carbon folks, the fishers that lived, and everybody that lived up and about and around him. My sister, everybody knew Freddie growing up.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful man.
Well, they had some great pictures at his funeral, and then later the sort of the time of fellowship. It just just Freddie, right?
There's not too many of the old timers left up around Roosevelt Ave, Princeton Street.
No, not at all.
You know, it's that we're sliding into that era now of being the old timers of the Carbon. It's amazing. You know, as much as I hate to admit it.
Yeah, well, you better go to boot camp because you got some work to do to catch up, right?
Yeah, I got to get up there and get out on the golf course, get some exercise going. But we were talking about that the other day, about the Carbon and Spatafour's gas station, which is now a bar room right on the line there with a mobile station, and how now it's the great-grandchildren, I think, that are running it, and they got all the oil trucks. But Johnny and his brother ran the mobile station. I used to work there. The gas was like 20 cents a gallon. And
right.
I'd work for a few hours on Sunday, and they'd let me wash my car for free.
Wow.
Instead of getting,
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It was a lot of fun, But all those families, they're slowly going to the hunting ground.
They don't make them like that anymore.
No, not at all.
Well,
I remember Bob Sardelli did a show on the Carbon, and it was me, Pin Canavino, and Freddie. And we were talking how I was probably, I'd say, between 5 and 6. And my mother took me to see Ringling Brothers Circus, the tent show, and it was down where the Dixie Cowdery is on Airport Road. That used to be a housing project with a huge field.
Really?
And they put their tent up there.
Wow.
But to get there, we walked down Battle Street into the woods, and then there's the Nashua River, but there's a big pipe that runs across it.
You walk across it.
You'd walk across the pipe, and then you're right there at the Airport Road. And Pin Canavino lit up like a Christmas tree. He said, yeah, that's a water pipe. He said, I had to shoot that, meaning I think he checked it out or something.
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, he says, not too many people know about that pipe, but that was a shortcut to the airport.
That's
said,
right.
That's right.
That's right. Amazing.
But all those things are going to be gone. Nobody knows that anymore, And there's a body shop on Battle Street now. And it was recommended for me. I had to have my mirror work done on my truck, and I brought it in there.
Yeah.
Guy cut me $20. They took the door covers off. They fixed it.
Really?
Fixed it for me, put it back together. And I was talking about the old neighborhood, how we used to walk down Battle Street, and a Leominster fire truck got hit by the train there one year because there was a woods fire. And he says, well, across the street there, you can't see it from here. It's all condominiums now. I didn't even know that.
Right.
And he says, take a ride over. And I did, and it was amazing.
Yeah, it's all houses over there.
Yeah. But we used to go down there 14 years old with a shotgun on my shoulder. You try doing that today, you'd have SWAT following you.
Oh, helicopters and everything.
Oh, they give you the whole thing. But anyhow, I won't bore anybody with any more stuff. And God bless Freddie. And I hope the boys at the Sunoco, there's 5 people on the payroll now. They're out of job.
Well, Nikki, our economic development, was going to call down there today. We're going to stop down probably tomorrow, and I don't know what we can do down there, for them. I mean, they need those bays to get to start working. It's not like, they need office space or anything. So
I know.
You can't just find that space. So maybe there's somebody in town that's got space that they can use temporarily, that they could operate out of. Maybe somebody's got one bay just to get them back to work, And
what the damage is, I'm sure that the lift even probably the heat might have put them out of alignment, or who knows what has to be changed.
All that
they were at an
equipment.
inspection station.
Yep.
They must have lost the computers and all that stuff.
Well, the fire department did a great job. They came from all of the other towns, surrounding towns.
Lunenburg.
And they did a great job. That's training, right? Being prepared.
It is. Oh, God bless them all. The firemen, everybody involved.
Yep.
I saw you on Facebook. You were down there taking pictures and stuff.
Yeah. No, it was hard to believe.
It is. And I can't imagine the backup on Route 2 trying to get off of that.
Yeah, but you know what? The police, Leominster Police, the state police, emergency management, they really, we put out a lot of warnings ahead of time.
Yes.
And even the Boston radio stations were saying, stay away from the area. So people seemed to cooperate and did.
Yep, they did a good job.
Yep.
Under difficult circumstances.
A+.
Yes. Okay, buddy.
Okay. Take care, Art. That was the Art
Bye-bye.
Report. We're taking a short break. We're coming back, and we're going to be talking to Joe Quinn, the Inspector of Weights and Measurements for the City of Leominster. We'll be right back. Here we go. We're back here at Inside Leominster. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're here on Thursday nights. We try to get a pulse of what's on your mind, and we put the show together. We have some guests every week, and Joe Quinn is with us. He's the Inspector of Weights and Measurements. Thanks for coming on, Joe.
It's great to be here,
I keep thinking back. I was looking as Ron does these awesome presentations here on the history of Leominster, and look back. It's just we used to do little segments of music, but this is much better.
Oh yeah.
And as I look back and I think about where weights and measurements have come from, have come from those days till now, or even 5 years ago or 10 years ago.
Oh yeah.
Everything is digitalized today, and everything is weighed, and it's just amazing. Things I thought I'd never see, weighing. I remember when I worked in the supermarket, apples and peaches and very few things were weighed. If they were put in a package, so you already knew what the price was.
Sure.
So now you get to the register of a grocery store, and there could be one of many things that almost a scale at every register, really.
Oh, yeah, and there is, and that's the point of sale systems that they use to
Right.
charge the customers. Vegetables, fruits are still weighed that way and, bought that way, and, they'll continue to be that way. It's just the
But it's not
best
cheap
way.
that way.
Well, no,
You walk
but
out of the
it
store with
adds up.
grapes,
It adds up.
$3 a pound, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, how much for grapes?
Right.
I just bought $10 worth of grapes.
Right. It's funny. I bought them today. Jan wanted them, and it's not cheap. At $2 a pound
Yeah.
or $3 a pound.
Two when they're on sale, but they
Yeah,
could go
right.
$3 or $4. And
Right.
you think, geez, I eat these, I eat a lot of these. So you buy
Right.
them, you have no clue what you're buying.
They go fast. The grandkids love them.
Yeah.
So hey,
And they're
it is
healthy.
what it is.
They're better than eating sugar.
Sure.
How do we do on cord wood this year? Any complaints?
We haven't gotten any complaints
Good.
thus far, so we're happy at that. Occasionally we will get calls on that, and consumers. We put together a pamphlet that was in 2 locations in City Hall available. Saw that a lot were taken. So
Yeah.
a lot of people buy cordwood still and burn it. People know that 128 cubic feet
Right.
for a cord, and the process is still the same that it's been for many, many years.
Right,
As the
of course.
dealers come in, they drop a pile of wood in your yard, and if you want to get an accurate measurement of it, you have to stack it
Right.
and then measure it, and if it comes up short,
But most of these people self-police themselves now. Anybody that's been in the business for a long time has a reputation, and they don't want, they don't want to get complaints. And today with social media, somebody complains, they get, the wood wasn't what it was supposed to be, and it was all junk wood and scrap.
Right.
That gets around quick. So.
Oh yeah, and it's funny when we do get calls like this, and we engage with the dealer, the wood dealer. They, in many cases, will be surprised that Weights and Measures is even involved in it. Oh no, I've never seen.
What?
Yeah, what are you doing? And I said, well, you know what? It's not like an annual inspection that we do, like with the gasoline pumps or the scales in the grocery stores or what have you, truck scales.
Right.
With wood buying, we typically are there to respond to a concern by a consumer.
Right.
And we're a phone call away. Whether they call your office, whether they call us directly. We'll go out, we'll conduct what's known as a wood affidavit. So we document our findings. And so we've got certified tape measures that we use. We go through the process. If it hasn't been stacked, we direct the consumer to stack it. So that's the only way that they can
How would you
determine
know? Right.
whether there's an actual cord. And
So go to a reputable person that's been doing it for years, that has a good reputation. Check
That's the
around with
big
some
thing.
friends, and you go from there. So weighing and measuring devices such as scales, balances, meters, linear measurements, and other devices are used in retail, wholesale, and industrial operations. Let's talk about industrial operations, right?
Sure.
So use
Plastics,
scales in there.
Plastics still, we've got a robust, the Pioneer Plastic City
Right,
in
still
Leominster.
a lot of plastic.
We've still got a robust plastic industrial group of companies here in the city, and many of them do sell off of scales. They manufacture the resin, the polymers, the
Powder,
thermoplastics. Well, exactly, and that's what it's known as. And so color concentrates is another thing
That's
that
what I
they
meant,
sell. And so with that, when we go into the industrial facilities and to fulfill the Massachusetts general laws, it's amazing, what you see. Mexichem, the former Alpha Gary
Right.
over on Pioneer Drive, it's amazing what they have, and they're going 7 days a week,
know.
24 hours
Yeah, they're busy.
a day.
Yeah.
Big time. Very, very good company that has been around for a long time. But we've got Hudson Color Concentrates, and we've F&D. We've got quite a few.
When people think weights and measurements, there are a lot. Gas stations, oil tanks.
Well, that goes without saying. And most people know about weights
Because
and
of
measures
that,
from
right.
gasoline or the scales in the grocery store because they see the approval seals. But there's many other things that we do.
Poultry, fish, vegetables, cheese, deli food, coffee, gasoline, diesel fuel, propane, some medications, fabric, copper, wire, rope, cordage, right? You know, you buy rope. Medical oxygen, precious materials, chemicals, people that buy gold. I would imagine they have scales, and somebody could complain and say, you know, an ounce makes a big difference. Plastic resin, polymers, thermoplastics, color concentrations, and some loose tobacco, cannabis, and other products.
Cannabis is coming. I mean, we know, you know, the medical facility. I was in there testing their scale. They don't package their medical, you know, products here. They package them in sterling,
right,
and then they transport them. So what the scale that they have there is basically tracking. So it's a very controlled environment for them. So what leaves sterling to come to Leominster, you know, they're weighing it, you know, before it gets here, and then when it gets here.
Right.
So, you know, it's just one of those things that they needed a certified
so
scale.
More and more coming online. You get stores like, you know, Walmart and Aldi Foods, and more and more and more. People think because Shaw's is closed that's just going to, well, that just means they go somewhere else and shop, which means more scales, more registers, and, you know. It's
unbelievable what Market Basket did when they did their upgrade, and, you know, they brought in even more scales than what they had. And so they've got 40 plus scales in there. You know, it's incredible. And talking to Frank, the store manager, you know, your brother worked there for many years. He said the store's too small already.
Yeah, I know.
And they could use much more space.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you see Market Basket take over that Shaw's location.
If they were smart, they would. I don't know if it's big enough, but boy, it's they just do an incredible business.
It is.
Just
and,
incredible.
You know, those are the two, Fitchburg, you know, those are their primary grocery stores in Fitchburg is two Market Baskets. We're fortunate that we've got Hannaford, we've got, as you said, you know, Walmart, Super Walmart, all the
and even
grocery.
Hannaford down here does really, you know, they seem to do well down on Lancaster Street.
Very
it's
good.
Incredible. In the middle of a neighborhood.
Right.
You
And that's the big
that.
thing is that's their niche. You know, for a small location, they do very, very well. And Victory Market did well there, you know, prior to that. But, you know, Target sells groceries as well. So,
That's right.
I mean, we've got quite a few locations. I mean, you've got Central Street Meat and Deli. You've got the Big Mania, the Brazilian grocery store out on Central Street. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Store.
Beautiful.
Done a nice job. This is Weights and Measurements Week, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Annually, this is an opportunity for us to talk weights and measures.
Yeah. Jonathan White was the first sealer of the town for the town of Leominster, appointed in 1740. Imagine that.
So Wayne Nickel was doing a research project, and he was the one who identified that information for me. And, you know, in passing, he just mentioned that he said, you know that we've had a sealer or inspector of weights and measures in both the town and the city of Leominster since its inception.
John
was one of the first.
Mulqueeny was the sealer of weights when it became a city.
When we became a city.
Imagine that, huh?
So, and then Larry Poirier, of course, you knew Larry, I knew Larry, took over in 1949 and then became, he passed the civil service exam and was the official sealer in 1952, and he continued to serve the city until 1994, if I remember right. And I started, you know, a couple years later.
He said, I don't know how many more times I can climb up on these oil trucks. He had to be in his late 60s, 70s.
He retired at 70.
Yeah.
And so he said, I probably should have retired 10 years before.
You need to find somebody to do this, he said. This is for a young man. And he'd be up on the top of an oil tanker, you know, doing the testing, right?
He was funny. And, you know, it was one of those things that, you know, he emphasized at the time that it should be a full-time job. Right. And, you know, I remember, you know, you and I talking, and you weren't sure whether you were going to make it a full-time job or continue it as a part-time job. So it worked out good for me, you know.
So we have 3 part-time.
So finally, you know, the city has grown so much over the years, and more locations, things that we have to inspect. I got to a point where I couldn't do it any longer at halftime for the city. And so, you know, I had come to you and said, the time, you know, I need help. And, you know, that's when you brought in, you know, allowed us to bring in, you know, Mark Stiles. And then, you know, Bill Charpentier was brought in when I went on active duty. So each one of us is working less hours, but with a total of 40 and a half hours per week to cover the city's weights and measures program. So, it's...
And you guys test all year?
We do. And, whether we're responding to complaints, doing random inspections or doing our annual inspections of all the, gas stations and, all the locations that have scales, whether they, as you talked about, precision balances for weighing precious metals like gold, all the way up to truck scales that we have in the city. And, we've got 5 locations in the city that have truck scales. We anticipate, at some point in the future, we'll add some more. We know that there's some rumble of people looking to develop here, so there'll even be more. But pricing is another thing, pricing scanners. So, we go in, that's on a biennial, once every 2-year program. So we go in and we take a look and see, what they say they're charging is what they're charging at the register. And so that's one of those things that they need to maintain 98% accuracy. And we do find errors, and if they fall under 98%, they're fined at $100, or in some cases $200 per overcharge.
Yeah. You point out in here you work with the DPW to develop a measured mile.
We've never had one in the city.
I know, never ever. I thought we did.
So I looked at this years ago, and so the city's taxi company, Kenny Bergeron, and the other taxi companies we've had always did zoning. They didn't have meters. So there was no real need to have a measured mile course. Right. Larry never put one in. I looked at it. I was told, by the state inspectors that you work with the DPW, the surveyor, basically will establish that for you, and then you just use it. Right. So we never really needed to have
whether the meters coincide with that measured mile.
Precisely, and that's how you test a taxi cab meter.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So we've never had it, but Uber and Lyft
electronically do that.
They do it through GPS. But we've been told that if people complain, there has to be a measured course to test the vehicle's GPS.
Yeah, because you never know what kind of software they're using.
Precisely. And so we're working with the DPW regarding that. And so they set up a course. We've got to adjust it a little bit. So we're going to work with them and finalize that this spring. So exciting, something different, and the signs will go up, and consumers, people that are interested in seeing how close their odometer is registering, they'll be able to use that as well.
Cool. Hey, look at little old-fashioned technology, right?
Right. Oh yes.
This is one of the things I wondered before. Sometimes you go to a farm stand and they have that hang-in basket with the the chain, and they'll throw some tomatoes up, and they'll say that'll be $5, and like. That didn't like. So they need to be inspected as well.
Those are inspected. Those are legal for trade devices. Right. You always look for the seal. Right. Consumers out there, they should be looking for the approval seal.
Gas tank, anything, right? Should have a
gasoline stations. Right. Any of the various scales will have an approval seal on them. Oil trucks don't. We typically use simply the security seals on them because they have our code and our date when it was inspected. But absolutely, that's one of those things that they should be looking for, consumers.
What else did we miss? You gave me everything you could ever imagine.
Well, one of the things we noticed this past year, we started looking at convenience stores, going back to pricing and scanner pricing. We noticed we started looking at those, conducting these scanner inspections, and we found that a lot of the smaller stores that never been really looked at, scrutinized, weren't pricing items. And we were finding a lot of items in those little convenience stores that had no price on them.
Like,
so the consumer didn't know what it was, so they had to go up to the register, and it's embarrassing. You got people behind you, and maybe you have enough money, maybe you don't. Yeah. So the Mass General laws requires everything to be
priced. And a lot of times you get kind of embarrassed into it and end up buying it, even though it's more than you wanted to pay. So you pick up some M&Ms, it's $2.50. You think, $2.50 for M&Ms. And you're like, people behind me.
Right.
Right. You know, I'm not gonna. You know, you end up buying them, right?
So we've been working with the businesses, the business owners or the business managers to tighten that up a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's a $75 fine for,
Each
you know,
infraction.
and we're not talking item pricing where in the grocery stores you see
How much per pound?
Well, you see the price right on the item.
Yeah.
It's shelf pricing.
Right.
You expect it, at the very least, there to be a price at the shelf location where a product is.
Yeah.
So, you know, you're not puzzled or having to ask the person who's working there that might be busy,
Right.
you know, what the price is.
Right.
And so hopefully we won't have to write any fines on that. We haven't had to yet.
Yeah. So it's just a matter of bringing them to compliance.
And another thing is random inspections. I mean, we're out there, you know, we've got a lot of oil companies that come from outside the city into the city. Last year, checked 13 oil trucks to see if they were in compliance, and 7 of them weren't.
Really?
And only fined one company. And, you know, it was one of those things that, you know, you try and get them into compliance
Right.
to do the right thing.
Right.
Of course, in many cases, you know, have to call the state, you know, to make sure that they're doing the right thing, or, you know, the local inspector or sealer where this company is located at to get them to do the right thing.
Right.
Because, you know, we don't want to write fines, but, you know, we have that as a tool in the toolbox.
You give a
if we
warning,
need
and if
to.
it doesn't pan out and you come back, then you realize they're not policing themselves, right? I mean, something's up here.
Well, they're
right?
trying to do things, or they're just ignoring what the law requires, and so. But you know, your viewers should know. You know, consumers out in the marketplace in Leominster should know that they definitely have someone out there, inspectors out there, looking out for them. You know, behind the scenes.
This is one I have to ask you. This is my last question. Propane.
Propane.
I don't get it. And when you take the tank there, how do I know if it's half full? And it looks like they're charging you for a full tank, even if there's some propane left in there.
Well, that was a big deal when I came back from Iraq. The director of the Division of Standards had made a big deal about this because they were getting complaints from various locations throughout the state that people were charging this flat rate,
Right.
and they were getting a half a tank, like
Yeah,
you say,
it's already in
of
there.
propane. There's, you know, they were only going there to fill it up. And so he
Because
emphasized...
nobody knows how much. You pick it up, or sometimes you can tell by the moisture how full it is. I know I pick it up, it's pretty light. I'm not going to wait for the last minute, so I take it down.
Right.
I don't know how much is left in it.
And they put it on the scale, and they're supposed to either use the certified scale or go off the meter.
Right, you can see that
and
5
charge
and 4
you that
and
way,
3.
either by the gallon or by the pound, versus a flat rate. You're going to be charged a set amount for whatever propane we put in there, and so that is absolutely.
Unless it's one of those exchange things, right?
The exchange,
Those
but
are different, right?
you're getting the maximum amount
Right.
in there. They tell you right on the
This is what's
the
in it.
closet or cabinet that they have. It's 15.9 pounds
Right.
of fuel propane that you're getting, that you're purchasing for that price.
Right.
And so no flat rate. So if you go to a location that they're charging you a flat rate, or charging you before they, you know, put the propane in your tank, I should be getting a call, and you know,
okay.
we can correct them on that.
Yeah, because I
had
noticed
to-
a couple times I went to get them full, and I'm like, I know there's some in here. I just, maybe one was empty, and the other one I knew was probably at least half. And I went there, and they were the same price, and I thought, nah, this doesn't sound right. Why are you charging me for a full tank? Right?
Precisely, and I had some pushback. There was a couple of companies that didn't want to do the right thing initially, so you know, had to educate them. Of course, you know, that's part of the job, is educating, you know, the merchants, and in some cases the consumers on what
Yeah.
the law requires. And so
I just want to pay for what you put in there.
precisely.
That's
Well,
all.
it's net weight, it's
Right.
net measure.
Yeah.
You know, that's the law in Massachusetts.
And they're making money off each gallon or pound or whatever it is going in there.
Oh, yeah.
You're paying for it. It's not like it's...
Absolutely,
They
but
give it to you
oh
for
boy,
free.
they were making a premium amount for
Yeah.
many
Oh, of
years.
course.
And so I ended up having to write a fine for one company, and they came around then. They realized that I wasn't fooling around, you know, had to, present them with a cease and desist order. You know, this wasn't going to go away on its own, and, you know, we were going to, you know, ultimately go to court if
Right,
we had to.
right.
We hate to do that, and, you know, I think I've only been to court 3 times. you know, in what, 23 years.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
You know, we hopefully won't have to do that anytime soon.
Isn't worth it. Hey, Joe, we're out of time. I want to thank you.
It's been a
Good to see
pleasure,
you.
Dean. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's a good education. We learned a lot this year. There's a lot happening. I guess the big thing now from here on in is probably, you know, food and propane. You know, heating season hopefully is going to slow down.
Sure.
And, you know, people will still get wood, though, for next year, so they should be cautious of that. But I'd suggest people, you know, go towards somebody that's reputable. Find somebody that you've been buying wood for years. They're not going to, if anything, they'll give you a little extra. They're not going to try to take advantage
There's
of it.
good dealers in the area,
Sure.
and you know they know that we're out there, you
Yeah.
know, ready to respond if they
Right.
don't
Yeah.
do the
and
right
that doesn't
thing.
look good for them if they get a complaint. And
It
they're
doesn't,
not in
and you know,
compliance.
in many cases, you're cutting in on their profit if you're going to fine them.
Yeah,
So,
right.
you know, you don't want that, and you know, if it's bad publicity too, you know, and
Yeah.
especially if a consumer has to go to court.
Exactly. And you really look bad. And word travels.
Right.
All right,
Absolutely.
Joe. We're
Thanks
going to take
lot,
a
Dean.
short break, and we'll be right back. And we're going to be talking about football.
Football.
How's that, huh?
Pro
Indoor football. Isn't that
All
pretty
right.
cool?
Very good.
We'll be right back inside Leominster.
All right, we're gonna have you cut the ribbon.
have you-
We're gonna count back from 3, okay? You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Hey! Nice job. Got a little citation here for you, welcoming you to the city and congratulating you. And
Thank you.
I can already smell the food cooking. I can already smell.
I'll tell you one thing. This food that they are preparing is very authentic.
Really?
Especially from the state of Puebla, which is in the northern part, north of Mexico City. And the enchiladas, the mole, you go like this. It's good.
Well, congratulations. I don't know who I give the citation to. We're right down here on Central Street, Leominster Plaza. In case anybody wants to know, you want to talk a little bit about the business? Prepare all the food yourself?
He talked with me.
He did a good job. He did a magnificent job, right?
Thank you
Makes
so
you
much
feel
for
like coming
coming.
back.
That's it.
Yes, thank you everybody for coming
Yes.
today.
And you can
So
see
what time
that
are you open? What are your hours?
we
10
change
to
the
1
way
till
the
10 at
snow,
night.
Yes.
So you can come
Open
in
the
and
weekends.
enjoy today.
And it's all, you said it's all authentic food, so you make it all by scratch, right?
Yeah,
Good.
everything.
Well, welcome. Another small business here in the city. We're excited.
Thank you very
All right,
much.
there you go.
Thank you.
All right. Nice job. And the food was good. Let me tell you, Mexican food at 10 in the morning, Anthony. 10 in the morning. How's that?
It sounds good to me.
It was good, and their chicken wasn't greasy.
Okay.
And I don't know how what grade of chicken they get, but the wings had lots of meat on it. You know,
That's
sometimes
nice.
you can
That's
just
nice.
kind of rip them off, and there's nothing. There's it's all bone. Good place. We had a good time. Anyway, Anthony Payton is here. He's with the National Arena League, Massachusetts Pirates, and they're going to be playing at the DCU Center coming up in April. Is it?
Yes,
Is
sir.
that the first game?
Yes, sir.
So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And
Thank you. Glad to be
I
here.
tell you, I mean, anybody that's been at the DCU for anything knows that it's indoor sporting events. It's exciting,
I believe it is.
and every seat is good, right?
Every single one of
it's
them.
affordable. So, is this the second season, or
Yes,
is this
sir.
a new season? So
This
the
is the
second season.
The second season, Massachusetts Pirates are here. Last season, we were the #1 team in the league. We ended up not making it to the championship. We got both quarterbacks hurt.
Oh.
And so we have a little chip on our shoulder. We ready for some
You're ready to
revenge.
go.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
so,
sir.
what's different about sort of arena football if somebody hasn't gone?
It's just faster, you know. The players are about the same speed in the NFL, but when you are on a 50-yard field, 28 yards wide,
Right.
things get up on you a whole lot faster, you know. So, and it's exciting because the the fans are right on the wall, so they get to interact with the players.
Right,
That's
right.
what makes it great.
And everybody's getting into it, so they're so close and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
moving fast. So it's kind of like basketball, but it's football.
It's
in the
just
way
like-
that it moves.
It's exactly, and that's the way the game was developed. Years ago, they wanted to give people an opportunity to go inside and be in 70-degree
Right.
weather and see a game.
When I went to the hockey game, I dressed up in layers because I
yeah.
just come from Minnesota. And it was cold.
Oh, yeah, I
inside the
guarantee
ice
you.
rink, it was just as
I
cold
guarantee
inside.
you.
So I get there, and we got all dressed up, and we're all warm. And we got there, it's nice and warm inside. Took
Yes,
my
sir.
jacket off. Have food. That's what a way to go, huh? That's
Yes,
exciting.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So your first game, let me just sort of flip the page here. Let's see. Okay. So single games, $15, right? Then they go to 18, so different depending on where you're sitting, right? Then they have group rates, so if you can get 15 or more people, you get a discount.
Yes, sir.
So you kept you can get season tickets, but you kept the prices really reasonable so families can go and it doesn't break the bank, right?
Right. That's what it's all about. It's about the families. We really involved in the community, and we're really involved with the kids and things like that. And we get to come out on the field after the games and actually meet the players, sign autographs, take pictures, and do all that. And so we're just more accessible, than the bigger franchises.
Right, right.
Because you get to be right up there. I mean, while I'm on the field calling plays, I'm actually talking to the fans at the same time.
Yeah,
the fans
yeah,
like,
yeah.
run this play, run that play, and I'm like, okay, I'll get it for
All
you.
right, we're gonna try
fun.
that one out.
Right.
But boy, I'll be back if it doesn't work.
Right. Right.
Let me just read the website a couple of times just so people have it. Kyle probably put it up there, but it's www.masspiratesfootball.com.
That's correct.
So it's masspiratesfootball.com. You can find out all of the information that is here.
Yes.
Meet some of the players. So where are you have any players from this area here?
Oh, yeah,
Leominster,
we got players
Fitchburg?
from Boston College, Columbia.
Really?
Some names you would know, maybe Thomas Claiborne,
Mm-hmm.
how you say his name? Al Louise. He played with the Giants. He's
Yeah.
coming to play for us this
Wow.
season.
That's awesome.
Luburn, Figaro. He played at Wisconsin. That's nearby.
Yeah.
He's a local guy. So we like getting local talent.
Yeah.
And
I can't
putting
wait to
them out
come to
there.
a game.
I can't wait for you to get out
No,
there.
it's going to be fun.
It's
I have
gonna
my
be great.
hat.
Oh, yeah.
I have my hat. It's official. It's a good hat, too. I love the
guarantee it.
logo.
I
Let me just
guarantee
show
it.
the logo here real quick. That doesn't have the logo. This here, the Pirates. Huh? Isn't that cool? You're on our camera here. You can roll in on it. There you go. Let's show it on camera number 1. There you go.
It is.
So all the information is on the website.
Yes, sir.
So again, I don't think it's on here. The first game is
April 13th.
April 13th.
against the defending champions,
And
Carolina Cobras.
Who are the other? Like who are you playing? What are the other teams?
There's a
Where are they
team
from?
in Jacksonville. There's a team in Orlando. There's a team in Columbus, Georgia, and then us. And then New York has a team this year.
And so you did well last year for your first year.
Oh yeah, we wanted to win it all. We had plans to win it all. We just, some things we could have did better. Even though we could have stayed healthy, we probably would have won it all. But now it's time to show and prove.
And your quarterback is now going to be one of the is he still going to QB?
Yes,
Same
he's
quarterback?
coming back.
Okay,
we
so
got the
he's
same.
okay
We got
now.
the same core
Yeah.
of receivers, and we got the same quarterback. I'm looking for another quarterback right now. We brought in another receiver. We're bringing in some new defensive guys, and so we're getting better. Getting better, and we're gonna put a good product out on the field.
Hey, that's going to be fun.
Title
I
town,
can't even
baby.
imagine how fun that
Title
must
town.
be. I've never seen. I think I've seen video inside.
It's
I've
fast.
seen it, and it looks like a lot of fun. But I have to admit, I've never been to a game. So.
Yeah, and we got NFL caliber players that are playing on a 50-yard field, 28 yards wide. It's just an opportunity for collisions all over the place.
Yeah.
So
Well, stay healthy. Good to see you. Good to meet you.
Hey, yes, sir.
And we'll update everybody as to what's happening. I don't know if we could get in to film a game sometime or
Why
go to a
not?
game at the beginning.
I might have
or
to talk to Nesson
whatever.
about it, but
yeah, I know they do film it, right? They do.
Yes,
Do they
sir.
stream it live? Is that what they do?
they do.
Yeah.
They do. They stream it live.
So they
and
have the
then
rights to it. So
They have the rights to it. And, well, YouTube has the rights, but I think they're working something out with Nesson that they can do whatever they're going to do with it. But we're on YouTube and we're also on Nesson.
Wow, how fun! Big time.
Hey,
Big
we
time
just-
indoor football right here.
We just want to
Worcester
give the community.
County.
We just want to give the community something good to look at.
Where are you from?
Louisiana.
Really?
Yes, sir.
This weather must be killing
Y'all
you
can keep
here.
it. That's one thing I'm gonna
Oh,
leave here. I don't need it.
Man, I'll tell you, it hasn't been a bad winter, but if you remember back around Thanksgiving, our big rivalry is between Leominster and Fitchburg High.
Okay.
We're always comparable, and some years, some periods, they have 5 or 6 years they win, then it shifts the other way.
Okay.
And it's over. It's like the longest in the country, certainly one of the longest in the state. This rivalry between the schools. So we always play on Thanksgiving Day, right?
Okay.
Well, if you remember how cold it was actually cooler the night before on Wednesday night than it was supposed to be like sub-zero wind chill on Thanksgiving Day. So they moved the game to Wednesday night, which I don't care. It wasn't. At least it'd be light out during the day.
Too cold,
it was
man.
cold the night before the day. It didn't matter. And then we had a couple early snowstorms, but for the most part, the winter wasn't that bad. But now we're stuck in. Here we are. We're going to push the clock ahead this weekend, and it's still cold. That's not Louisiana.
No, not at all.
Did you grow up in a small town or a big town?
My mother was military, so
You moved around.
It was small at first. Leesville, Louisiana, right outside of Shreveport. Everybody knows Shreveport because of the gambling and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
But Europe, Washington D.C., we was all over the place.
Right.
Fort Bragg, Fort Campbell. So I'm very well traveled. Europe for 4 years. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
But anytime you can go somewhere where it's warm.
Yes.
I mean, the winter's not bad. I mean, believe me, I love the winter. It's just, I want the stopwatch to go off March 1st. It's up. It's springtime now. Let's let the snow crocuses come up, get the buds on the flowers on the trees. Right?
I like that San Diego weather, 70 all the time.
I know.
That's why.
I know. But it's a good time to start the season in April.
Yes.
It's still cool enough that people looking to do things inside. So we'll see you there.
I hope so.
All right, Anthony.
I hope so.
We're going to take a short break, and we're coming back with photos of the week, and we got to catch you up on the pizza crawl, Anthony. The pizza crawl coming up next week.
Okay.
Starts on the 10th, and you get a chance to go and taste all the different pizzas in Leominster, and you decide. There's always this sort of talk on Facebook and social media about the best pizza. And, well, now it's time to show up. Show up, do the taste testing, and tell us your favorite pizza. We're taking a short break. And I wish I had a slice of pizza, but we don't, and we'll be right back.
All right. How do you? Oh no.
We're going to start from 10, 9, 8.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
There you go. Roy, I don't know if you want to make a few remarks. Roy, you have a certificate. You do it. I'll hold the microphone.
Oh,
sorry.
thank you. So I just want to congratulate you on opening, and we have this little certificate
Thank you.
to acknowledge your opening. Congratulations, best wishes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you all.
Thank you all for being here. I'm probably going to say this again, but the appraisal. It's not on.
No, it's on, but there's no PH for them.
Oh, sorry. The appraisal business, as you can probably imagine, is very, very virtual. There's not really a whole lot of need for a physical office so much anymore, just the way the times have become. But actually, Dean inspired
don't
us.
blame me.
Back in 2008, during the recession, he made a point of investing downtown by opening a store. And when he told me that story, Gina and I started talking, and we thought, you know what, someday we'd really like to do that. And here we are. So thank you all.
Nice job. All right. So, don't anybody move. We're going to roll some blue ribbon out front here. Done masterfully by Melissa Tasker, who's took 3 years of college and a half a year intern to be able to do this correctly. And she's mastered it. I saw that. I have a lawyer here. David, we can settle out of court here.
Points down.
I'm a witness.
Keep the points down.
All right, Melissa will tell you what to do.
All right, we're just going to come back from 3.
Nah, these guys are big time. We're just...
All right.
3. Let's pull tight. 3, 2, 1.
Whoa! And there we are. You gotta. Let me check for a minute. Hold on. So these ribbon cuttings are like parties, and if you want to, let's see. Let me just tell you what tomorrow is. It might be on the list here, but so tomorrow we're going to Italian Treasures ribbon cutting. That's at 18 Main Street. We'll be there at 2 o'clock if you want to stop by. And then we're going to, at 3 o'clock, we're going to be at Edward Jones Ribbon Cutting. They're at 1041 Central Street there in the Appleseed Plaza, where all those other businesses are. And yeah, and then I think, well, the fish dinner start at St. Anna's, 4 to 7 during Lent. They go 4 to 7. It starts at 4. St. Anna's fish dinner. So we've got a bunch of grand openings coming up, but we have fun and food and lots of laughs. So if you get a chance, stop by. If not, we always have somebody there from LTV to film the occasion that we share with you. Hey, we've got some serious photos of the week to share with you. And here we go. You guys ready back there? Pictures of the week. And there we are celebrating our 100% funding of our pension system. And that was really a big celebration that day. And there are too many people to thank for getting to that milestone. What does that mean? It means similar to you paying off your credit card or your house mortgage or whatever it is, debt that you have. And now the system funds itself. And it's a big deal for the city. It allows us funding that we can use on capital projects through the city. And what does that mean? It means less borrowing for you, less interest. And yes, even someday, maybe a little break for you. There we are, Ascension Appraisal Company, down there at 42 Main Street, cutting the ribbon. And the Chamber of Commerce and all their ambassadors were there. City Councilor Frieder and a number of the other small businesses came to support them. And so we had some fun. And here we are down at Leominster Market. That's where the old Dunkin' Donuts is. And hard-working family. I'll tell you, they own another 1 or 2 of these variety stores, and they're beautiful, immaculate. Anything that I guess you could really want from a variety store, a convenience store, is in there. So we congratulate them and wish them well. Hard work is open long hours, but you know the family works together and they cover it. And here we are at the Once Upon a Time event. This is when all the little kiddies dress up in their favorite costumes. And there we have, looks like Dorothy, Judy Garland there, Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, and some Snow Whites. And, you know, last year, I think this year surpassed the amount of kids that came. And we have a number of different groups that are there to help us out, and Project Apple, et cetera, and, you know, with all the volunteers. And as I said in the past, the sponsors, the businesses in town are the sponsors, and they fund these 100%. So it was a great day. We had fun. And there's some of the staff from City Hall, from the city clerk's office, and dressing up in the proper costumes here. And the kids had a ball. I mean, you see their eyes when they see adults dressed up in these costumes, and it's the real thing. Over at Leominster Fire Department, there's a new deputy vehicle, a little bit different than in the past. The firefighters' turnout gear, similar to today. I was just there for a short time, and I smelled of smoke. And you know, this is some of the stuff they're exposed to is cancer causing. And now they used to just throw it in the back seats of some of these old vehicles. The older vehicles, and now these goes into a separate compartment. But if you could see inside the deputy's vehicle, just absolutely beautiful they are, and they take very good care of these vehicles. We get our money's worth out of them, and the latest in computer technology. So similar to today, as they're going to a fire, an incident, a lot of the information they can pull up on the computer. The dispatchers also behind the scenes filling them in with what's happening to get them in preparation for the building, what the building is, what's in the building, what might be the contents of the building. So all of that is happening while they're driving to the scene. They're hearing that, they're seeing that, and this thing operates as basically a substation for them as they arrive on scene. There's our new group of firefighters. Sean Gray, Chief Sidlow is there. Our City Clerk Caitlin Huffman is there. Firefighter Jose Antonio Carrera Algero is there. And Sean Sullivan, Benjamin Boudreau, and myself. And we congratulate and welcome our new firefighters. Great bunch. Pretty proud of him. And there we are reading The Cat in the Hat for Community Reading Day at Francis Drake School, and we had a ball. I think I had more fun than the kids. And Garibaldi down there at Leominster Plaza, as we just showed you with the grand opening, great Mexican food. That's all I can tell you. Order the wings. DPW hard at work removing snow in the downtown area. They, again, keep their equipment in great shape. They have some good equipment, more equipment on the way, and great job. DPW, you can always count on them, and if it's not removing snow or plowing or doing sidewalks, we got them busy on other projects. And there we are, hard at work at the Route 2 meeting, and we talked a little bit about it last week, but there are all the key players and elected officials, and talking about different ways to make improvements short-term and long-term, and there are some short-term things that we can do to Route 2 that would actually help reduce the amount of accidents that we have there. So lots more meetings, a lot more data to come. And there's Mrs. Moran, 100 years old, sharp as she was at 20 years old, no medication, sitting there eating her cake, and stood and took a little picture for me. And Rosa's son was the former police chief out there in Lunenburg, if anybody remember him. Used to wear his cowboy hat. He's still out there and still looks the same. Anyway, 100 years old, sharp as anything. Happy birthday, Rose. And there's some photos that Wendy climbed to the top of the steeple during the middle of the storm to give you a little bird's eye view of what Leominster looks like shortly after it snows. There's another photo there of Pilgrim Church. I'll tell you, can't get any more New England than that, huh? Just remarkable pictures. And there we are, from high atop the cupola of City Hall, catching that beautiful view of historic downtown Leominster. And then a flashback picture, which I have no clue what it is. Here it is. So there we were. The first year that we did the heating fund, raising money, we asked everybody to contribute $1. That story went national. It was a big deal. And I'll tell you, we're still, we still have people that are looking for assistance in need. And if you could, send $1. If you can send more, it would be appreciated. There we are at Photos of the Week, and we had plenty of them. Couple things. So how's this whole thing work? You come to City Hall, and remember to renew your dog licenses by April 30th. So what happens is you come to City Hall and you buy this little ticket. And when you buy this little ticket, you it's $3. And then you go to each pizza place, and there are 11 of them. And you get to go to each one, and they have slices. And the slices will cost $1, and you get to taste them, and you fill out your little card, and you let us know what your favorite pizza places are, and then we pick one of the entries we pick, and you will get a free, I guess, pass to all of these pizza places for I'm not sure how long, but yeah. So it's going to be fun, and I hope to get to all 11. It starts on the 10th. Let's see, what else is, next week on Tuesday night, Carl, are we going to be live? We'll be live, I think, from City Hall, and we're going to be doing the Leominster Student Art Show. And these are students. If you're a Leominster resident, you're a student of any school, could be a school choice student, a parochial school student. We're doing our fourth annual art show. So please stop by if you can. Anyway, it's all week. It's not just Tuesday, but Tuesday is the opening, and there'll be a reception. Stop by. There's no cost. Then, the Leominster Art Association is having their 54th art exhibit, April 4th, 5th, and 6th. We want to remind you about that. And lastly, we're having a National Public Health Week, and come help celebrate Public Health Week at Leominster City Hall. And there'll be all kinds of healthcare providers there to answer questions and to help you keep healthy. That's on April 4th from 5 to 7. And we also hope to be there doing that show as well. So a lot going on. Carl's going to come and tell me that it's time to head out. The 17th is going to be an Irish music concert at Leominster Library at 2 o'clock. Again, the pizza crawl starts on the 10th and goes to March 16th. And yes, skating at Carter Park. all set to go. Wrap the kids up. Tomorrow night will be a beautiful day and night, and they'll probably get into Saturday, and then we're not sure what happens next week, but I know the ice is looking good, so get on down there. Thank you to the whole cast and crew at LTV. Thank you for watching. Good night. God bless you. Remember, the world is run by those who show up. You need to show up. Good night.